This dog is staring at me. We're like locking eyes. He's like, is it okay for me to come over? He knows I'm shooting a video. Okay, so wet. These dogs are always so wet because it's always raining here. Today I wanted to answer a question, and maybe we'll get to two, but maybe just one. We'll see how it flows. And the first question is about this person. They have Kundalini awakening, and they feel like whenever their energy sort of balances out, they start to become really introverted. They start to become really quiet. They don't feel this desire to talk much, and this can be socially awkward for them. And the question was just kind of like, is this normal? Have you gone through this? Does this pass? Kind of, what does this mean? And the first thing that came to me was like, wow, enjoy that. What a nice time. So often we're burning up our energies, kind of pretending, kind of putting on these fronts. It's so exhausting to wear these masks. And one of the big masks, a spiritual being who's really connecting with peace wears, is this mask of talking when they don't feel like talking. It's just like, I remember when that mask started to fall for me, and yeah, the awkwardness of it, like, why I don't have anything to say here, it's not true for me to speak. Because when you start deepening into truth, what starts happening in the deepest way is you start connecting to the silence. The silence that everything sort of manifests from. And when you start attuning to this silence, when you really start to feel the aliveness of the silence that everything manifests from, when you start to cultivate this deep relationship with the silence, where the silence nourishes your being, where you're able to listen to it, where it's an ever-present companion on your journey, you really only want to speak when the silence wants to speak through you. And to really sync up with that and attune to that kind of rhythm and way of being can at first feel awkward especially in social situations where other people's conditioning kind of expect something from you, right? They expect you to play a role. They expect you to talk at certain times. They expect you to maybe not let it get so quiet. And it can come up. I mean, I'm even in a situation now where I notice it because I'm living with new people. I mean, especially because here's a big thing for me. I'm in a new country. I'm a foreigner. So it's a little even extra scary for my humanity to like not play a role here and there. And so if we notice it happening, no judgment, it's fine. We just notice it, like, oh, okay. And then we ask, well, why? And usually it's survival fear. That's why we wear masks. And because I'm in a foreign country, I'm getting to see even more survival fears coming up and how they play out. It's real innocent. It's nice to see. And that's one of the reasons that the silence takes us to new places where we're a foreigner. So we get to kind of flush out of even more of this stuff, where we get to see more areas where we pretend, and we can go even deeper. Because when we're feeling totally safe and secure, we tend not to wear a mask, right? And so, yeah, my initial kind of response to this question was, wow, this is such a beautiful kind of revealing to you of how deepened you're becoming, of how it's just going to be hard for you now to kind of do something you don't want to do in a deep sense, and not from the egoic level of I just want to chase pleasure and avoid pain, but from just the deepest level of truth. Because sometimes from the level of truth, even on a human level, we have to do shit we don't want to do. I'm not saying it like that, but just from the deepest level of truth, it's going to be hard for you to kind of play a role that someone kind of, maybe you can feel that they expect you to play. Or it's going to be hard to play a role that your conditioning says you should be playing. You're not going to be able to listen to that voice as much anymore. That voice of, the people-pleasing voice. I gotta be this person so that they'll respond in this way, and so that everyone will be, that kind of conditioned voice within you. It's losing its power. And hell yeah, celebration, man. It's like, we just get to rest in our beingness. We get to move from there. We get to speak from there. We get to just be ourself. What a beautiful thing to be stepping into on the path for you. And the other thing, just let it be socially awkward. What's that like? Be curious. What's it like when it starts to feel socially awkward and that kind of fear starts coming up that's saying, oh, you should say something to take away the awkwardness or the uncomfortableness of everyone. When that starts coming up, what's it like to actually not speak still and just stay in the socially awkwardness? Stay there. And you'll notice over time, you'll cultivate a spaciousness for that kind of moment where you'll start to feel okay in it. And the awkwardness of it will kind of melt away and dissolve away to where you won't feel awkward in those moments as much, or maybe at all. And even the people around you can sense that, and they might even start to kind of feel a bit more relaxed in that silence with you, because a lot of people might be feeding off you too. You'll notice when you start cultivating more presence, people will start looking to you for how they should feel. It's interesting how that works. And kind of initially, we're the one looking to others for how we should feel, but then when we get really settled in the silent presence, in beingness, people, even subconsciously, I've noticed, they can sense it, and they might intuitively start kind of looking to us for like, oh, we can be quiet now. Oh, we can just rest. We don't have to speak. And they might actually appreciate it. They might actually really like it. They might enjoy the fact that they don't feel this pressure around you to always be talking or to be something or be someone. And the reason they don't feel that is because they can sense that you're not doing that. And so in a sense, you're liberating not only yourself, but others. And some people might not be there, and they might, not be having that reaction, but that's okay too. The thing is, you're not dependent on how other people are responding to you as much anymore. You're just noticing. You're noticing it. It's there. It's not like you're oblivious to things. You're aware of everything. You're feeling everything even more. But it's not so much of a thing that's throwing you anymore or making you want to hurry up and pick up a mask and, I got to be this person. No, it's like you just get to be in your frame. And if your presence is just going to be here and I'm not going to be talking much, then you just allow that to be, It's like you're just letting God kind of be the decision maker when it comes to how others feel about you or not. And other people can project onto you things, and it's okay, fine, they're projecting this about me. I think one time I was in a really meditative state. This is when I was at home, and I was really starting to tap into these dogs and honking. Okay, that's what the silence is manifesting for us for this video. One time I was at home and I was starting to tap into these deeper states, and I was starting to, this dog is so cute. Come here. I'm in a better mood with the dogs today. Yesterday I was like a little grumpy. They were disrupting me. Today I'm feeling different about it. The flows. I was at home and I was starting to tap into these meditative states, and I was becoming more authentic, and I was starting to just kind of not feel the need to speak very much. I was in a really silent phase where I was just being quiet, and I think my dad came home one day and I was just in that spacious place, and we didn't speak to each other because it just didn't feel true to say hi, and he didn't say hi to me, and it to me it was just okay, that's fine, that felt quite natural. And he went to my mom and he said something like, what's going on with Maddie? He's not talking. So he kind of projected onto me that something was wrong, but I was like, no, I'm just in a meditative state, you know? It's like, he didn't say hi either, I mean. And some people might project onto you, like, what? That's like kind of the fear, right? Like, oh my God, what are people gonna think about me if I'm not talking? They're gonna think something's wrong. They're gonna think I'm crazy. And they might project something onto you like, what's going on with that guy or that girl? But that's okay, you know? You kind of go through that. You go through the phase where people project onto you things and they think that whatever they need to think, or their ego. It's like Cesare said once to me, no one's ego is really worth it. It's like, it's not their soul projecting onto you. It's just their ego and their conditioning. And we don't need to go around pleasing other people's egos and conditionings, right? Or their programs. And so we go through that kind of phase where people do that for a while, and we realize it doesn't matter. And then once we're free of that and we're not concerned about what people are projecting onto us anymore, when we're just being who we are, even if that involves being quiet and not talking much, then we get sturdy in it, we get stable in it. And people can, like I said, people can sense that. And it's kind of a gift for everyone around you to just kind of, you know, be true to yourself. Maybe it does unsettle them, maybe it's a bit triggering for them, it brings up their stuff, but that's a gift for them. They get to see stuff, and that's how you're being a conduit for truth, for grace, is just being true to yourself. And that brings more consciousness to the whole dynamic that you're in socially with anyone. And then you can have tenderness, and then you learn over time, you have these softer areas, and you can kind of, I don't know how to explain it totally, but you get really attuned to the moment. And yeah, there's just a social intelligence that starts waking up in you that's not of the mind, that's not of the ego, that's not of a mask, it's just more of love. And so this path with interacting with others and awakening, it moves, it's really dynamic, it starts evolving into something that's really quite special and beautiful and intuitive. And because more and more your character just isn't here. There's not as much of like the character stuff here, right? And so you're just more and more free to be what this moment needs you to be for the situation, or to be what the silence wants you to be. In any type of kind of social dynamic you're in, or whatever. So this talk's been so good today. Good job. I love you so much. Oh, bonding. There's one of these horses is like really big and powerful and just kind of does what it wants in a way, you know, but super, I don't know, there's just like a teaching it brings through to me when I'm just with it, when I'm just connecting to its field and its presence. It's just like, it just takes up space, you know? It's just like on the ground too. It's so sturdy and rooted. It's pretty profound to be in its presence. I'm just like, wow, I'm so honored. Thank you for the teaching. Let's just leave it there. It's a nice little 14-minute video or something. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate your donations. If this work resonates with you, if it supports you and helps you on your path, and it calls to you to give me a donation, there are links in the description box and also in the comments to do so. I'm also so delighted to welcome any of you in for one-on-one sessions who feel called to connect with me in that way. It's such a delight to meet with you guys in that space, and I just love supporting you guys and assisting you in any way I can on your awakening journeys. So there's links for that in the description and the comments as well. But other than that, just sending you all so much love, and we will see you in the next video. Namaste.